first half. So
Don't worry, nobody
Hola
heard that.
Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. Thank you, Mo, for completely ruining my rhythm going into the introduction. I completely lost my thought process, but big up every single one of you in the chat. Big up my co-panel. Big up Jacob. Big up Farouk. Big up Mo. Big up our partners, Manscaped. The link is in the description below. The pin comment, Jacob, I hope you can, set it up quickly. The code is LBR20. People, you know the drill. LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com.
yes, sir. Before you go on, I'm just gonna say that I'm very happy that I managed to ruin your flow. These are the moments I live for. So incredibly proud.
Right. Okay. You're just plain annoying. But the game. I wasn't super happy. We'll get into it. I know the boys weren't as well. This was a game, or this was a night, basically, that we were supposed to be given a lot more answers, but we are left with many questions rather than having some sort of a solid you know thought process going into the potential quarterfinals. Come mid March. It's not looking great at all. To be honest, we just saw more of what happened back in Leipzig, and that wasn't something that I was looking forward to. The game plan, how it was completely thrown out of the window from his team selection. Like I was telling the boys earlier on, that if what we saw in Leipzig made the coaching team resort to fielding five midfielders and yeah, experimenting it on the biggest night of the season, I really don't get it. I really want to, I really want to be a fly in the dressing room and basically, look down on what's been told to the players and what's been discussed as to, like what should be our game patterns be throughout the 90. Because I'll reiterate myself from the past couple of weeks, right? Farouk was in there, so I was, full blown critical of how we were performing, and this is what I felt today as well. We don't have players knowing what they're going to do before something is about to happen. In so many phases of play, people are just looking around and looking for answers. It's just not the way that we should be setting up. We should be going out in big games, especially the club of our size. Yes, people can bring in, excuses. This is a transition season. We don't have a recognized striker. There are injury situations, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Because, like, come Man City or come a big side that we saw, Leipzig isn't a big side. They're a half decent side that can press well. They gave us one of the biggest reality checks I've had, as a fan, at least in the Champions League, in recent memory. I know people can bring up ties like Wolfsburg, where things haven't exactly gone to plan. But yeah, this wasn't something that I was looking forward to. But we'll get into it. Big up my co-panel. I'll come to you first, Jacob. When you saw the lineup, you basically mentioned it in the chat that yeah, this basically makes me nervous. Walk us through it.
I mean, the thought process was so. I don't know where I saw it from, but I'm pretty sure the lineup got leaked somehow. So I saw this exact lineup a day before, and I was like, "Man, this is such a ridiculous lineup. There's no way this can happen." And that's exactly what I saw. Rodrigo was dropped. I don't know what's the thought process there, but basically made sure that we were toothless in attack and peg back in defense as well. No support for Carvajal, Valverde all the way high up in the pitch. Bellingham, our best player on the ball, he couldn't get any touches because he was playing as a striker most of the time. I just didn't understand it, and I don't know, man. I just hated the lineup first of all, and the first half was just a nightmare to just sit through it.
And the performance really, warranted why you felt nervous, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming on to you, Mo. How's the feeling? How's the general feeling after that scrapey 2-1 win on aggregate against fucking energy drinks, basically? Yeah.
Yeah, and the first, like, when I was watching the game, this for his second half, the thought going in my mind was like, we're losing to an energy drink. We're losing to these guys. I don't know what these guys mix in their drinks or whatever, because they're winning, keep winning in Formula One. They keep winning in football now. So I was kind of bit annoyed, but come the other day, like I said it when the draw was made back in December. I said it when we were previewing the game back in February. Like Leipzig are absolutely the worst matchup for us. Atleti, these guys, maybe City, and City. I don't think is a matchup issue. It's more of a tactic, like quality, like two teams of good quality, going against one another. But when it comes to Leipzig, when it comes to Atleti, and when it comes to whichever team Thomas Tuchel is coaching, like for me, these three teams, like this season, I think they're like a terrible matchup for Real Madrid. So I said before the matchup we were going to have trouble dealing with their intensity, and I guess I was proven right. And to be honest, it isn't just me. I'm sure there are a lot of other people who would agree with me. Like coming into this game, we weren't at all happy, when we got Leipzig. So for me, the fact that we're going through after this matchup is the positive I will take. Was it a good performance? Definitely not. Was it a performance that you want to see from Real Madrid? Definitely not. Was it a performance that you could entirely put down to being a bad matchup? Definitely not. Because for me, I think in the past few games, and you have made this point over and over, Real Madrid have struggled, especially in the offensive phase. I think ever since Jude got injured, he's been out of the team, and that combination in the front lines hasn't been there. Rodrigo's form, the fact that he is off form, the fact that he hasn't scored, I think it has like affected his game, because he doesn't really make the movements that he was making towards the start. Today in the second half, there was one moment where Jude Bellingham kind of plays a back pass, and he's kind of expecting Rodrigo to be there, to run into space and get the ball, but Rodrigo is nowhere to be found. So I think this is the same thing when we did the preview with the Copa del Rey final, Super Copa de España final with Hafed. I was talking about this, that once players get into this rhythm where they keep missing goals, like with Lewandowski, they try too hard, and they miss out what makes them great. And for me, Rodrigo is going through the same phase. Like in the previous post match, I think it was just me, you and me, Sunat. I said it. Rodrigo's form is beginning to worry me, and I think today Ancelotti dropped him, but still he tried doing some things, because there was this moment where he absolutely took control of the ball on the left side, and tried to dribble and create a goal. But for me, overall, I think the combination of the offense is not there, and Real Madrid are definitely paying for it.
The only solace I have, it is in the fact that Rodrigo basically injected something into the game, right? Like, yeah, he wasn't effective, and I'm nowhere near happy with his performances as of late. But yeah, he just gave us a lift. I feel like and it's just
Yeah,
the bar is so fucking low.
yeah, I think you made a very important point that he gave us a lift, because I didn't actually get to watch the whole of first half, so I can't really speak to it. But listening from you guys, and I do trust your opinion. So listening from you guys about how bad we were, it kind of reinforced something in my mind. The fact that we always keep calling to drop Rodrigo, but the thing is, like, we need him. We can't really do without him, and we need him to be in form, because without him, we're definitely going to struggle. I think the ceiling of the team goes down if Rodrigo is not in the team, and if Rodrigo is in form, I think we'll achieve much more than we would if we suddenly drop Rodrigo and do not give him the time to get back into form.
Yeah, even if it's from the bench, we need Rodrigo in peak match sharpness. Like, he just looks like he is really lacking the confidence at this moment in time. But I'll come to you, Farooq. Yeah, first of all, welcome back. I haven't really gotten the chance to talk to you after you came back from your vacay back home. Hope you didn't miss us at all. We clearly have proof that he didn't miss us, but we missed you, Farooq. Tell us, how are you feeling? Before we get to the game bit, which I want to really ask you a serious question. But in general, Farooq, how's life?
Yeah, man. I mean, back, safe and sound. People back home are good. You come back, and it's business as usual, man. So yeah, I mean, it's good to be back. And it's good to be back with you guys as well. Contrary to what you're saying, I mean,
Contrary.
Yeah, I think you should.
I beg to differ.
You should watch my comeback episode and see how excited I was. But yeah, man, I mean, that's a story for another time. But yeah, it's good to be back.
Fair enough. All love.
On Farouk's comeback episode, I was just excited he didn't get arrested or something in Nigeria.
Yeah, he has been evading, the duties of a lawful Nigerian
guys,
citizen for too long, too long.
don't air my dirty laundry on air, man. This is
Fair enough, fair enough. Dirty laundry aside, speaking of dirty laundry, actually, right? Carlo's been delving in, dirty laundry ever since you're away. I don't know if it's just the fact that he got to know, oh, Farouk is on holiday. Let me just, you know, play to my strengths. That is, free for all, freestyle, headless chicken stuff, right? You have been a huge advocate of Carlo is not the right man, is not the right guy forward, and I used to always defend it with the fact that as long as the results come, we are going to be fine, right? And towards midway, I think midway of the first half of the season, November, October, like there were periods in the season where even you were impressed, considering the situations he had to deal with, the loss of Benzema, the Thibaut situation, Militao situation, how we kind of uh, came up with a plan to negate our weaknesses and capitalize on what we can actually do on the pitch, and we succeeded to great extents. But ever since, I don't know, turn of March, not turn of March, turn of February, we have been really on the downward spiral regarding performances. Farooq, my question is, right, like, we know Carlo as a man who is made for the big moments, right? People can make excuses as to say, yeah, like we won the 14th in a similar fashion against PSG. We had to suffer. City, we had to suffer. Chelsea, we had to suffer. Um, Even Henri in the CBS Sports match, he was mentioning that's what big clubs do, right? Like on a day when things aren't really going great, they still manage to push through and qualify. But is that really enough against this Leipzig side who is fifth in the Bundesliga? Yes, stylistically, Mo was saying this is a bad matchup for us. They can press as well. But are you really concerned? Like, I don't know if you caught the Valencia game at the weekend. Like me, man, I am panicking. Like, what's your take on all this?
yeah, man, bro. I think it's as we've always said, Carlo is a man for the big occasions, and whatever I think of him, like you can take that away from him, like his record speaks for that. But I'm just gonna, answer your question by, going to what you and Mo were reiterating earlier, that like Rodrigo came on and gave an impetus to the team, right? The point is, if you're taking Rodrigo out of the team, in my opinion, Rodrigo didn't give anything to the team. He just came on because like there was no one in those spaces. When you take Rodrigo out of the team and you put in Kamavinga for a team that already is not creating enough, what do you think is gonna happen? It's exactly what Mo said. Like, Jolt is going to give a back heel and it's going to be in an empty space because there is no one there. You're like filling your midfield with 5 players. And I mean, even if you want to take Rodrigo out of the firing line, like there should be an alternative, which is not Kamavinga. Already we are playing without a striker in this team. And then you're removing this and putting a different profile of a player there as well. When you have players like Brahim, when you could have played Husseiro as well. I mean, that just was, asking, like, I feel like that was just more of arrogance. I don't know, on his side, like, I don't know if that might be the right word, but I feel like that was just shooting yourself in the foot. That totally made zero sense to me. Zero. I can understand a Luka Modric in that situation. You understand? Not, take out Rodrigo and like, okay, I will put Modric. I can understand that, but honestly, not Kamavinga. Definitely not him. So like, I kind of feel like, that prepared was a recipe for disaster in the first place. So when Rodrigo came on, I felt there was no impact, but the point is that he's there in those spaces, that in the first half there was no one. I mean, in the first half we had no shot on target. Like, come on, like we were playing like we were away. We were playing like,
Honest to God. Honest to
we
God.
were playing like we were away, bro. Like, man, I mean, like every 5 minutes, like Leipzig had something, man. If they had someone who actually,
Every counter, every transition, every attack, simple as.
So it's not about the fact about creating chances anymore. It's about the fact that the rate at which we're conceding chances. I didn't watch the first leg as well, but the highlights I watched, like it was an extended one. Leipzig had really good chances to win the game. Let's not forget, like they had a goal even disallowed before we even.
Openda could have had a fucking hat trick. Like, I'm not even gonna put it lightly. Like, he could have even had a poker if he was clinical. Let's be honest.
And I get the fact that like Mo is pointing out the fact that okay, like Leipzig is like one of the worst matchups we can see. The fact also that you're irritating, like even Titiani was saying like, yeah, like this is what big teams do, they find a way through. But bro, we didn't find a way through, bro. Leipzig literally opened the door and just went away. Like when you find a way through is what we did against City, what we did against Paris, what we did against Chelsea. Well, here we didn't find a way through, bro. Like, I mean, in my opinion, we didn't find a way through. The door was literally, you know what happened? Leipzig lifted the door and put it through us. They literally lifted the door and shifted it through us. We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. And if he's going to start making this kind of tactical decisions, I'm sorry, but I don't see anywhere we're going. I don't see where we're going anywhere. Come on, like, I mean, I have always argued that, yeah, okay, he is not the right person to do this and do that. But come on, like, I mean, this is just borderline stupid. You don't have a striker in your team. You're playing with two attackers. You remove one of them for another midfielder. Bro, what are you, Spain? Come on.
I don't get it. I don't get the thought process at all. The very fact that Leipzig basically had, you know, the freedom of the pitch, like what you said, like we conceded the goal immediately after we scored. That just shows the initiative they had throughout the game. That just shows us the chokehold they had towards towards the entire 90. Like you really can't walk away from this game thinking that Leipzig were kind of deservedly losers, right? Like people who will be replaying this matchup will also see so many similarities to our game in Valencia, where basically against an organized press, we just suffocate ourselves. Like when we like, I don't get it. Like this is one of the biggest gripes that I have with the way modern football is being deployed, right? Like, yes, you are being pressed from every angle. You have no way to go. Fucking boot the ball. Like, then we can deal with what comes later. If it's a throw in, we reorganize, we reshape. You know, we kind of settle ourselves, and then we kind of try to smother what they throw at us. But like in the heat of the moment, like when you're trying to wriggle yourself out of a press, more often than not, you're very prone to mistakes. Carvajal had like two or three, very characteristic Carvajal moments against Leipzig as well. Like replace Leipzig for a City, man. Like regardless of if we play well or if we set up well, we are definitely underdogs against City. Imagine we play like this. Imagine we play like tonight, where we basically trust in our instincts to basically sit back and basically give ourselves a better platform compared to the first leg. Mo, I want to ask you this question, man. Like, does Carlos' thinking revolve around, oh yeah, like we saw that in the first leg, like how can we basically prevent that from happening? Just that alone, right? Like how can you make a decision on just that, right? Like, yeah, we gotta basically prevent Leipzig from running us ragged. We're at home. We are the the perennial champions of the Champions League. Like how can we set up so pessimistically against the Leipzig side that yes, they are good, but really more, are they that good is my question.
I think something that we need to keep in mind is the fact that Ancelotti can go with like 10 plans. But if Leipzig decide to come out and you aren't able to counter it, whatever planning that Ancelotti went to the game with goes out the window. So for me, I've been reading some post-match quotes from Ancelotti, and he says that the idea of when he set up was to press the opponents. And I'm pretty sure that we didn't see any of it. Instead, Leipzig were the ones, like you said, pressing us all around the pitch, forcing mistakes from us. So I guess the instructions didn't actually translate. So that is an issue. And I think even after the City game, Ancelotti said the same thing, that they went out with a particular set of instructions, but that it didn't work out. It just happened to go that way, where whatever instructions were given by the coaching staff were like completely forgotten, and the players decided to do what they could do. Like today, we were just sitting deep and trying to defend ourselves on the box. And in situations like this, I feel that is when we realize how badly we miss players like Sergio Ramos and David Alaba. If Alaba had been there, we have an ability to play the ball out better in these situations, because today, like none of our defenders, especially center backs, as good as Nacho is on the ball. I mean, he's definitely not Alaba good. So when these situations are there, everybody knows that you just crowd out Cruz. Then Real Madrid don't have anybody else to pass the ball to, nobody else to relieve the pressure. And even in attack, even if you hoof the ball up to Vinicius, they can put three defenders on him and build a wall around him. So there's no connection between anybody else, Vinicius and anybody else. Because Mendy, for all the good that he does, he's not really great on the ball. So Vinicius passing him the ball is like there's nothing to do there. So in situations like these, when the profile of our players isn't that great, and when Real Madrid, players are out of form, when players are not combining well, when players are not taking the correct positions, we often talk about the fact that players are not making runs from deep into the opponent's box. But sometimes I feel players are not positioning themselves around our box well either, especially when you are trying to build up from the back. When you're trying to get the ball out. If you remember one game, it was against Liverpool at the Di Stefano, during the COVID years. I think it was the quarterfinals when we faced Liverpool. That time there was the sequence where Lucas Vasquez and Cruz and all these others combined to get the ball out of a pretty good Liverpool press. So those situations aren't getting repeated because players aren't positioning themselves well. Players aren't moving off the ball well. And I think I read something online that definitely clicked to me. The fact is, like, we have been pinpointing a lot of players, but one player we haven't really pinpointed out, like in the recent games, is Fede Valverde. Towards the start of the season, his form was like incredible. Maybe like last year, it shone a little bit more because of the fact that he was scoring goals, but this year he hadn't been scoring goals, so he was going under the radar. But off late, I've kind of felt that that ability of his to carry the ball across the lines, the ability to make
Is
runs,
missing.
yeah, it's missing. And even his positioning on defense sometimes, it doesn't really feel the same. So with that thing, I think that is affecting the play of Real Madrid. We often say that if there's one player who's like absolutely undroppable for Ancelotti, is Fede Valverde, and the fact that his form hasn't been at the level that he used to be. I mean, he's been decent, he's been good. I'm not going to say he's been a crap player or something like that, but when he is not at that top level of form, I think Real Madrid suffers, and is definitely showing these days.
And Jacob, I would like to, basically, retread on the same question. Openda basically ran through every single time that he had a chance to do so, right? And nobody could stop him, even from set pieces, even from corners, even from crosses from deep. If replace that Openda with a Haaland, he walks away with 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah, man, I don't get how Openda managed to score like more than 20 goals this season already. Like, he's such a shocking player. Just over the 2 legs, he's been the worst player on the pitch by far for both teams. And like, it's fine if he could, even if he got like maybe 4 or 5 more chances, I think he still wouldn't have scored. But if you replace that with Haaland, like you just need half the chances, or like half the quality of the chances that Openda had for Haaland to score. So it's not going to look pretty if we go with similar tactics, if we go with a similar style of play, if we concede the same level of chances, we're going to be in trouble. That's sad, man. I just feel like this is a game that maybe, like Carlos said in his quotes, we have to reassess and reevaluate and, come back fresh. So maybe doing that, hopefully we get to that point for the quarterfinals at least.
Yeah,
But Jacob, this is the thing, we've been there before, as Mo rightly pointed out. They went to City last year, and also they had to reassess and redo this and redo that. We literally played at City. We would have still been playing till today and still not scored. You understand? So at what point do you start? And this is with Benzema. Benzema wasn't like fully fit, like he wasn't whatever, he was having fitness issues, but whatever. But this is with Benzema. This is the point. Now you're having someone who is not a striker who, all of a sudden he's having the season of his life, and then now you have Vinicius Jr. and then there's Rodrigo, who you don't know what to expect from him. So like it's just it's really, really bleak, and I just kind of feel like today, like in my opinion, was just all on the coaching staff. Honestly, like I just don't know where we go from here. Honestly, like our prospects were in like oh yeah, we're the favorites of shit like that, but like come on, like I mean even now playing Thomas Tuchel shit is buying is also like a proposition that it's looking scary, honestly. Harry Kane with, Harry Kane with a quarter of those chances, bro. The game is over in the first 10 minutes, man. Game over.
I'll tell you something, right? Like going back on what Mo said, where Mo is someone who has a better eye for the game than I do. Like, I'll be honest, right? Like he tends to understand it better tactically. Well, I'm a layman in terms of tactics.
Is there
right?
a blue moon somewhere? Sunil is being too kind to me, so I have to see if there's a blue moon or something.
Okay, take it or leave it, right? But yeah, what was I going to say? So yeah, when Mo was basically mentioning that even while playing it out of the back, our players aren't really positioned well enough to, like just minute details in how you open your shoulders up to receive a ball, or maybe, like how basically you can angle yourself away from someone who's pressing to, basically get out much more efficiently. It just, brings me back to my very layman analysis of when I look at players, they just look bewildered. Like they have that look in their eyes, or like, oh shit, what was I supposed to do then? Like there's so many looks being exchanged between big players, key pieces in this puzzle for Ancelotti, that it's super unacceptable. Like I'm telling you, like against maybe sides like PSG a couple of years ago, like we were thoroughly outplayed, and I could kind of reason it with, yeah, like we are not really being proactive, right? Or we are being a bit passive. We are trying to be a lot more conservative than we would like to be. That was our greatest gripe, right? But this season, compared to a couple of years ago, like I feel like players really don't know. Like there was a huge instance, right? Like I think it was before I think it was before the first goal. Not sure. Yeah, it was before the first goal for sure. That we scored. Vinny is running down the wing, right? And Vinny, usually what Jude does is Jude underlaps or overlaps, right? But he's basically following Vinny. Like he completely became oblivious to the fact that he should underlap and maybe provide a passing option, or pull someone, some defenders out of the way so that Vinny can cut in. It just isn't there. Like I don't see any cohesion in the side. That's just one instance where I could, really, see it through. But yeah, like this doesn't really give me any sort of confidence, man. Like I'll be very honest. Like how many 7 out of 10 or 6 out of 10 performances can be plucked from that game tonight? I'll tell you, you can count it on your right hand. Like it won't be even five. Like if players actually, if people here on the panel can really name me 5 players who had a game above 6 out of 10s, like I'll be surprised. And that's super worrying against Leipzig at home. It should be so much better, boys. I really don't have any guts, right, to be
Yes.
facing
So
top
I'll
sides.
just
Go
I'll
on.
just say this one thing, all right?
Mm,
I think all the criticism that we're giving the club, like the team right now, is like pretty
mm,
valid. But
mm,
we have to keep something in mind. When you started this, we said that when you like, I think when you were first speaking with Farooq, you said there was a period in time in November, December, January when all of these guys were combining pretty well, and that time we were seeing that the fluidity of the formation, the fluidity of play that we are missing right now, and we were
mm.
pretty happy about it. And then, like I said, Jude Bellingham got injured in February, and ever since he's been missing, Real Madrid have struggled a little bit. With Brahim, Rodrigo, Vinicius, it wasn't there. Even when we played, at Las Palmas, it wasn't there. And now Jude is coming back from injury at Mestalla. The combination between Vinicius and Jude, like, and Rodrigo, it just didn't happen in that game. And today again, didn't happen again. Last game we kind of expected that maybe he wasn't fully fit. This game probably again not a full
Not
100%.
fully fit. No, no way.
Yeah. So for me, the thing is like, yeah, definitely we need to criticize the team for what happened today, but we also need to keep in mind that give them some time, especially Vinicius and Jude Bellingham. Once the combination starts coming again, I think we'll be a better team. So
He's suspended for Osasuna and Celta again.
we'll see what happens there. Definitely there's going to be an appeal, and we'll see what happens there. But I think once Jude is fit, once there's that combination, once that understanding, because I mean, let's be honest, these guys haven't played like they have played what, like 5 months together. So give them some time. I think once a combination comes in, because you made a good point. Jude didn't really know where to position himself once was running after Vinicius. So that happens when there's a lack of coordination between players. They don't really know what the other is going to do. But for now, I think give them some time. Let Jude reach his 100% and get back into form. I think Real Madrid will definitely go back to being fluid again.
Mm.
Yeah, and we also
Well,
saw shades of that happening. Like today, for me, the only combination that kind
yeah.
of worked in the second half was Jude and Vinicius. They combined at least three chances together, created something out of nothing.
100%. It's too much responsibility. I'm telling you, it's too much responsibility in great sides, right? Let's not even talk about good sides. In great sides, players will be put in positions where they can basically concentrate on the finish, or concentrate on who to play in, or who to pass to next, right? We are basically improvising as we go. Is this a fucking is this the most expensive game of charades or something? Like honestly, this season is looking like that, right? Like especially with this diamond formation and like
No, man, the thing
performances
is
as of
like
late. Mm.
between the period that we were good, we had the right balance. We had everybody clicking. Everybody was in form.
Yeah,
Everybody was
not
doing
gonna deny that. Mm.
going ahead, and then he was even covering at the back. So the thing right now is like Fede hasn't really kept that form up that he was doing, and I mean nobody expects them to do. And the combination between Jude and Vinicius is taking some time to come back. But I fully expect that Fede is probably going to improve. The thing is like with Real Madrid, we always say that come January the performance is going to drop. It didn't happen in January this time. It's probably happening right now. It's happening in the second half of February and opening of March. But there's gonna be a uptrend, as February wears on. I'm fully expecting it to happen, and I think we'll be fine, towards the end of the season.
They better have an uptick, man, because I'm not really ready for facing City in the next round. I'm telling you, I'll be honest. Bayern, yeah, we can take them on, but City, we're going out. I'll tell you right now.
I'll say
City,
this
we're going out.
against City is it becomes a competition of quality, right? Because
Competition of quality against that side who can basically bring on 3 top-notch subs to change the game on any given day. How many subs can we bring on to change a game?
I
One.
mean, when it comes to that point, a lot of people from injuries will be back. But I do get your point. In the attack especially, I think we lack a striker. We lack a top quality striker that is definitely needed. So that definitely pushes us down. But right now, even without a lot of players being injured, we have done decently this season so far. Against City, it becomes a match of quality. It all depends on who's better on form. Given during that game day or during that 2 weeks period when we face them. So overall, I'm like not too worried. City definitely a team to be worried about because they're the reigning champions, so you definitely have to be worried about them. But apart from others, apart from City, the other teams, I'll be like, I'll still give Real Madrid a good chance of going through to the semis.
Yeah. The absolute idiots who used to tell me, right? Oh, City really are in the team of last season. They're slacking. I told them in December. I told them in November. We all know how the script goes, right? They sleep for 2 months, then they wake up, and then they fucking blow every team in Europe out of the water, and that's what's going to happen. It's simple as. So last year, I remember I used to have some chest believing in what we are trying to do. But this year, if we have a preview with Big Steve, I'm going to predict a loss from the get-go. I might be, like basically swimming in my emotions too much right now, but I can't see any way a rational me. Maybe under a couple of
I think we
drinks,
should
I
worry
might
about
change.
City when we face them. Right now, I don't think we're.
It might be next round, bro. Mo, let's be
Okay,
honest.
fine.
You never know.
When the next round comes, when we are previewing them in the next round, then we can talk about it. I mean, I don't really understand. Is it this the Manchester City podcast?
Nah, but I'm just
I
super
mean, I don't
worried.
really get why we have to talk so much about them. It's okay.
That's
We'll
the
face them.
benchmark, right? We are
The thing
comparing
is,
our
we're
performance with the
not really
benchmark.
afraid of facing anybody, man. Okay, I mean they're a good team. They're the best team, but we faced the best teams in 21-22. So
We did.
anything can
But
happen.
yeah,
I don't really understand like fearing somebody and saying our team is crap and everything. I mean,
it's not fear. It's the very certainty that we are going to lose. Simple as.
Okay. That is
How we played
That
today.
is called being afraid. That is called being afraid.
Being afraid is basically conceding that you have any chance in the tie.
You're
right?
saying we're going to lose.
I'm saying we're going to lose based on what we saw today. Like, how can you sit here and say that we are going to win when you see a performance like that? Mo, can you?
I've seen Real Madrid do better, and I know they're capable of being better. So right now, I'm like, yeah, definitely, I agree with you that City is the benchmark to reach for, and if we face, they're going to be favorites. But I have enough faith in my team to, if it's anybody apart from City, I definitely fancy our chances. When it comes to City, yeah, we'll definitely.
I'll agree with that as well. But City, no way. But
Okay, fine.
yeah,
City, we don't really need to talk about them so much.
Right. Fair enough. I was just being honest because, man, like I don't like saying that City is gonna, thrash us. But sitting through what I sat through last year, just yeah, like I would want that time back, basically.
This is the thing about being a football fan, right? I think Farouk or somebody said this. They're gonna be lows, they're gonna be highs. Enjoy the highs, but don't get too disheartened at the lows.
Fair enough.
Wow.
You're a much more You're a much
I
more,
mean, I'm just quoting Farouk. You know, Farouk is a great guy.
composed guy when it comes to dealing with stuff like that. But I hate to lose. I'll be honest.
I don't know, man. I kind of feel like maybe Sunit's Arab roots actually has some things. We don't know. Maybe the people in Abu Dhabi are sliding some colored papers, and Sunit is like trying to promote them constantly.
Farooq, yo, relax, yeah, relax. We are under Manscaped now. Let's worry about the shakes when it happens. Let's get to the chat a bit.
Oil money.
Yeah, oil money. Right. Milan was saying, big up Milan, he was mentioning Carlo Ancelotti, disaster class, winning 24 goals and assists in 22 Champions League games. Rodrigo should have started easily. The worst coached game since Zidane putting Vinny right wing back against Chelsea. Yeah, don't even start.
That's
that.
a throwback.
Yeah, that's a proper throwback. Yeah, that's this level of shite. Yes, 100%. Big up every single one of you in the chat. You know the drill. If you're new here, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 2K. That guy King was mentioning, oh my god, what did I just watch? Right, Ashik was mentioning I'm watching Pain right now, and it's way more interesting than the match that was. You can't deny that wasn't interesting. I mean, interesting. Yes, we were on the receiving end of the majority of what happened, but it was definitely a good game. Can you guys hear an echo from my side? Is it still prevalent? Mo was mentioning it.
Yeah, back then it was like too loud, but right now it seems okay on my end. But it depends on what kind of echo Jacob is getting.
I'm getting it on as well.
It's fine, man. Like I think it's soft enough that you can just live through it.
It's there, right?
Yes.
Right. Do you think the stream, guys, if you hear an echo, please let us know, yeah? Because I can just mute myself and go sleep, honestly, because I have no interest in fucking talking about this game. Daryl was mentioning...
So then if you leave, who's going to promote City?
Not in the mood for jokes as well. Daryl T was mentioning what a shambolic display on the club's birthday. Even PSG looked far much better than us yesterday. Yes, yeah.
I was
on a birthday as well.
I was telling Jacob and Farouk, before you came on, and we were talking. I said as soon as everybody started celebrating our birthday, I knew something bad was going to happen today. If you guys remember, in 2002 we had this Copa del Rey final against Depor. That was
on the anniversary, right?
Yeah, it was a complete farce. So if anybody has time and wants to see what Real Madrid has been through, the pain we have been through, even the worst games than the City 4-0, you just have to go back in our history and look at some of the games, the titles we lost in the final.
Depor was actually a very competent side back in the day.
Man, you should read what actually the events surrounding that game, and you'll be like, man, you'll pity the fans who had to go through it. But overall, I mean, as soon as everybody was celebrating, I was kind of afraid that Real Madrid are going to get knocked out, especially given the fact that yesterday Ajax were kind enough to remind us of the fact that it has been 5 years since they beat us. So that's the only trophy that they keep on celebrating every year. So and it also gave some Barca fans something to celebrate this season. So I was kind of afraid, but the fact that we went through is kind of like, is my silver lining in the dark clouds.
Fair enough. Yeah, losing the league from this position is going to be shocking. But yeah, like Champions League getting knocked out in the round of 16 is basically a failure of a season, in my opinion. Yeah, I put my club in very high, regards, especially when it comes to expectations for a season, regardless of how realistic we can, look at that at the beginning. Ricardo was mentioning, I think this was our worst performance of the season. I'd rather lose trying than playing that absolute garbage I just watched. Yeah, what the fuck, Carlo? Rajat was mentioning, nice to watch prime Burnley ball. Rajat has the point, He's also saying it was the worst game on your eyes. Yeah. Yeah, Daryl was also mentioning, be lucky we weren't facing the likes of Grimaldo and Frimpong. They would just have given us a thorough whopping. Right. Ashik was mentioning we just escaped today. Dent Manscape. Yeah, there you go. Wordplay, man. Wordplay. Keep it up. Tas Saliba, big up Tas. He was mentioning, how can you still defend Ancelotti? Any decent team with decent finishing is going to win over us. Simple as. This is not just this game. It's been happening for a long time. Besides Girona, another year of this hard. I don't get if it's a positive hard or a negative hard. It's definitely a negative hard. Miller was mentioning Carlo needs to take that 5-year sentence. that's fucking mental, Milon. You need to relax, right? But yeah, man, big up, Milon. That was funny. Raja was mentioning it was Burnley or Stoke City levels of a game. Sun was mentioning the passage through the arid Pintus Valley. Yeah, questions. Few other quotes from Carlo. He was mentioning you have to be self-critical but not exaggerate. We have to exaggerate, Carlo, please. Yeah, like honestly. He was also saying we wanted to press more, instead we defended too low. We had little verticality. It was a bad evening, and it seems obvious to me. You should have done something about that, in the first half. Like, even like, let's be honest, right? When they scored the goal, like, I just knew what was coming. They're gonna come with the guts that people who really don't have anything to lose, right? Like, even starting the game, they had something to kind of fall back on, because it was only a 1 goal deficit they had. They can, probably game manage a bit, but as soon as we went 2-0 up on aggregate, we saw like how vicious they were. And Rodrigo had to basically make a double block. Like, how crucial was that? I think the game completely turns on its head. If that effort from, I don't remember who it was. Was it from Xavi Simons? I can't remember. It was a fucking blur. But that double block basically, I think, saved our lives, man. Honestly, it was immense. Rudiger Chouameni was really good. Marcus Benningham was mentioning it was a shitty game. Thank God Openda is not clinical, otherwise we will be out of this round. Tas Saliba with the Rodrigo slander again. I was mentioning Rodrigo being shit yet again. Can't be happy seeing him good for 1 game and disappear for 5 games. Gives me Quaresma vibes.
I forget somebody who used to call Rodrigo Rashford. Was it Tas Saliba?
Yeah, it is Tas Saliba. Like, read the rest of the
it's Tas
comment.
Saliba. I called him the Brazilian Rashford. Hope it doesn't happen. Holy shit! Yeah, I'm starting to really really get worried about how that's gonna pan out, because Rodrigo is my boy.
Just to need some happy pills, he's too depressed now.
Like, how can you not be? Like, I don't get it. Like, how can Mo smile about the match the way he does?
I see you getting depressed after reading comments, so
I just don't get it. Yeah, like, it's happy to wear a smile on when I'm not really happy inside watching that. Prince Arthur, bigger Prince, he was saying, let's get over this loss. Benzema is gone. We have the quality and we have seen it. He prefers absorbing pressure to dominating possession, which is I'll give you that, which is a fact. Ancelotti does prefer the pragmatic route than being the dominant side. Go on, Farouk.
Yeah, we've also seen it last year, right? So that's the thing. Like, we've seen it over and over again. That's the thing. Like, you know, for how long can you ride on the high of the UCL that we won? That's the question. For how long can you ride on that high? So, like, you go to games and, like, it's just the fact that you sit back and you sit deep and your team is not creating anything. There is no connection between the midfield and the defense, and like, oh yeah, you're being pragmatic. No, like, I'm sorry, with all due respect, I say this over and over again. You compare the season of Zidane's last season and Carlos' first season. The only difference was Benzema's heroics. What happened in Zidane's last season? I think we lost the title on the last day. We were out of the Champions League in the semi-finals, right? Against Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea, right? So with Chelsea. The masterclass. So that's the thing. Put in Benzema's masterclass and it's a whole different thing. So, like, I mean, you can come here and keep telling me. I mean, every single one on this panel knows that Benzema was at gold mode. He was like in that Cristiano era that, okay, we're not going to lose this game. That was just the thing. Every single one of you would agree with that. And that was a damning factor to why we won the Champions League. Of course, like, yeah, Rodrigo was there, Camavinga was there, like, they were all X factors as well. But, like, we shouldn't come here and be like, yeah, okay, he loves the pragmatic. No, he needs a Messi or a Cristiano or Benzema performing at that level to make that happen. This is just the thing. This is not Carlo of 2007 anymore. This is not Carlo of 2010 with Chelsea. This is 2024.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to interrupt you here, right? There are two things I want to say to you. First of all, I don't think the difference between Zidane's last season and Ancelotti's first season was Benzema, because Benzema was pretty brilliant for Zidane as well. The difference was the fact that Benzema actually had somebody contributing alongside him in Vinicius. In Zidane's last season, that wasn't happening. I mean, Vinicius was missing open chances. But in Ancelotti's first season, he suddenly started scoring. Something happened, some magic happened, and Vinicius suddenly became, he gained the ability to score once again. So for me, that's the difference. And the second thing is like, I mean, I definitely agree with being down on Ancelotti, especially given what happened against City towards the end of the last season. But we also have to keep in mind the fact that we went to the semis and we lost to the one team that was probably the best team in Europe last year. Yeah. So I mean, we completely thrashed Liverpool at Anfield. I mean, Chelsea, whatever that team was, we went past them, and we whoever faced we did well against them. And yeah, definitely we were like bad in the league, but it has its own reasons. I wouldn't squarely put it down on Ancelotti. And this season as well, I think Ancelotti has like marshaled the team well. There's a reason why we are 7 points ahead, and there's a reason why we have gone through the quarterfinals. I mean, yeah, definitely this particular game was bad. This wasn't the best game that we have played this season, but I mean, I still would give Ancelotti a lot of credit. I think going forward, maybe even if we lose, I think this Ancelotti so far has done well this season, given with what he has.
So that's the thing. Like, I'm not saying that, like Carlo is this or that. What I'm just saying is that the comment was that like we've seen him done that. I'm just saying like it's been 2 Champions League campaigns, right? He won one and he lost one, right? He won one league and he's lost one league. So like it's not like you come out and be like, oh yeah, Carlo, that yeah, he just does more prime Mourinho team. We score 1 goal, we close shop and we win the whole shit. That's not the thing. It's required a moment of individual brilliance over and over again. And okay, like it's like trying to make excuses and what is and what is not. But the point is, who is the closest contender to us? It's Girona. Like, I mean, it's not like it's prime Barcelona running down the throat of Carlo Ancelotti or like Atletico.
Okay, Farouk, you're saying it's just moments of brilliance, but has this season, especially the period between November, December, let's say January, February, was it just down to moments of brilliance, or was it the fact that we were playing some of the best football that we have seen around in recent years?
I totally agree with that. That's true, and I agree with it.
I mean, that was Ancelotti as well, right?
But this is an isolated thing. This is the point. Like, Carlo has been here for how long now? 2.5 years. In 2.5 years, you can maybe count 5 months, 6 months where actually you could see that something happened. For every other game, it's come on, man. Like, I mean, even the season we won the league. Let's not forget. Like, my issue started from the Sevilla game, at the Bernabeu, where we had like Vini score that R2 goal, Woldy, stuff like that. And after that we won the game, and like all of a sudden, Carlo Ancelotti is the second coming of Jesus Christ, or I don't know, the third coming or the fourth coming or whatever it is, So, but that's the point. Like, we can't just keep going like this. Honestly, like this is just not the thing. So if we're gonna keep playing like this, okay, then today we win, tomorrow we lose. Today we win, tomorrow we lose. It's gonna be just a battle of up and downs.
But
the issue is
that's the point, right? This is not tomorrow we win, like day after tomorrow we lose. The thing is, like, we're having a lot of good games and we are having a couple of bad games. A couple of bad games can happen to any team. I mean, we are definitely, I mean, as much as you want to discount it, the fact is like this team is not completely built, right? We're still missing one big player in attack. But given what he has, Ancelotti has done a decent job so far this season. And I will carry on doing the right job, like even in the future,
I will rephrase the sentence in my way. It's the fact that it's not that we've played bad in a few games and played well in a lot of games. We've won a lot of games and we've lost very few games. But we've been shit in most of those games. There is a phrase actually that Jacob used towards the beginning of the season that I love. It's that you watch the games and you never feel like Real Madrid is going to win, but they win. This is just the thing. You never feel like they're going to win, but they just win. So this is the thing. Like, we win the game, but like we've not been good. So I think we should not mix the two things.
Jacob, you give this guy the bullets. Why the fuck do you give this guy the bullets? Like, I don't get it. But yeah. That made me happy for like 5 seconds. Thank you, Farouk.
Now are you depressed again? Oh no.
Yeah, I'm back to the downer mode.
Farouk is soon as get happy pills,
Honestly. Yeah, like honestly, like I won't show disparity towards the boys.
Please get me my Farouk. Mo, have you talked to Farouk?
Yeah, honestly, like Farouk is my most favorite person. Like it's just simple as, like, I know you guys would feel a bit intimidated by that statement, but that's just the reality of the situation, Just,
one love.
I'm
gonna be your best man I'm gonna be the best man at your wedding, man.
Honestly, okay. I'll be super honored to have you.
Yeah, bro. But I know that's not gonna happen, man. So it's all cool as well. I know
yo. Stop hating on the future, right? Like we never know. But talking about the game, Prince Arthur was also saying Madrid does enough to win throughout the season. Get Chabin or something. I don't get what he meant.
I think he's just reiterating what Farouk said. Madrid just does enough to get the result, but then
Right.
he kind of wants Xabi Alonso to take the place of Ancelotti.
Right. Prince Arthur was also mentioning Openda had a bad day, else we would have been destroyed. Yeah. It's pretty much how the game panned out, right? Like they had the better chances, and plus, um, Miron was mentioning Openda, Di Stefano, Cristiano Ronaldo, greatest, Real Madrid's greatest. I hate how you guys don't respect my Belgian goat. Great defensive performance. Ricardo was mentioning pertaining to Rodrigo. We just have to replace him. Yeah, he is not going to start over Vinny, and he is extremely limited on the right. Since Bale regressed, our right wing has been dead for years.
Like, I just feel like selling him is just not the answer, We still need depth, and even if it doesn't set the world on fire in the next 5 years, he's still such a super valuable person to just bring off the bench or just to give players some rest. So we shouldn't even think about selling him. People have been asking for depth in the attack for a long time, and then once we can actually potentially get it next season, then suddenly we want to lose that depth. I don't know.
Yeah. Rodrigo is such a valuable player. Like I won't really back any movements to sell him, but they like, especially after today, considering how it has been going for the past month or so, people are really gonna cook him. It's not normal. Like he should know that at this level, at this club especially, right? The club he knows more than maybe guys like Vinny.
I just have one question. Like, why wasn't Brahim starting today? Like, if Ancelotti decided to bench Rodrigo, why wasn't it Brahim
That's
today?
That's the biggest.
Was he injured or something?
Man, no, man.
That's the biggest conspiracy.
It's a masterclass.
Maybe he might be injured. You never know what's happening. Maybe we'll get to know it in a couple of days. But it's super surprising why Brahim, who has excelled, like even in a two-man front two, has been completely left out. Like he didn't even come on from the bench. Like I don't get it. So he must be injured.
What I thought, like when you guys were talking about the lineup, because I didn't really get to see the game in the first half, but I was thinking like Ancelotti, what he wanted to do today was replicate what Zidane used to do, with his four-man midfields. Whenever there were big games, he would bring all these midfielders into the game and try and win the battle of the midfields, especially with Isco, because Isco was this one guy who could, you could give him the ball, he could have it the whole 90 minutes and nobody could get it out of him, even if he creates nothing and Real don't do anything. So for me, that was something I felt that Ancelotti probably wanted to do with five midfielders playing today. But I think the fact that we lack a player like Isco now, somebody who can hold the ball in the midfield, dominate possession, I think that really hurt us. And the players that we had really didn't do the job that I think.
Casemiro 4 years ago basically could sweep on his own solo.
And I think that would also play into what Ancelotti is saying in his post match. In the post, he keeps saying that he had some ideas about pressing Leipzig high and winning the possession and everything, but that didn't really happen. Once that doesn't happen, Leipzig, given their intensity, given their verticality, given their ability to play out the ball from the back and move from defense to attack in like a matter of seconds, Real Madrid were like incredibly pinned back, because if we didn't do that, we would have left a lot of open spaces. And maybe Openda didn't score, but then Chesko might have scored, So I think that was why Real Madrid got pinned back. So sometimes these games happen. Sometimes you can plan like with the best of, you can come out with the best of plans, but you can't really implement it because
I was really surprised by how wasteful Leipzig were. Like I'm pretty sure that they are.
I'm actually surprised that Openda didn't score a single goal in these two ties, because even ignoring the number of chances he got, like coming into these games, he's been in brilliant form. I remember when we did the preview the first time, me, Jacob, and the guy from Leipzig, and I said that Jacob asked me like, which player do you expect from Leipzig? Which player do you expect to score? And I said Openda. So Openda has been in good form.
He even scored against Bochum, right? Like a couple of days ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
I didn't really watch the game, so I wouldn't know. But for me, I was completely expecting Openda to score, and I mean, definitely we've been like surprised.
Guys like Sesko shooting from way out, without having any composure. Like I didn't really get it, honestly.
Maybe I was expecting more from Openda in this game. He's a pretty talented guy, and the fact that he had a pretty bad Champions League tie overall against Real Madrid, I think this is the difference between players like him and players like Rodrigo. Although Rodrigo might be getting a lot of shit, but the thing is, like, when he comes to big moments, he does step up and he does deliver. something that is a key characteristic of what separates the great players from the world class players. So I think that is why I think Rodrigo going forward definitely does have a role in Madrid, until we decide to sell him because we need to raise money.
Right, right. Jacob, I think it's perfect. It's a perfect excuse for the ad break. Let's hear what Doris has to say.
Hola Madridistas,
Big up Manscaped.
I'm back once again to remind you guys that we're partnered up with Manscaped, and if you want to help and support this project and this little family of ours, be sure to check out Manscaped and use code LBR20 at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. So 2024 is in full swing. We're already a month in, and if you had any New Year's resolutions to look better, feel better, I have a company called Manscaped. They're trusted by more than 10 million men worldwide, and if you want to take a positive step, in a good direction this year, start with yourself. And Manscaped asked us to introduce you guys to the new lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. It's a hair trimmer, for your sensitive bits. It features skin safe technology, to keep your sensitive bits safe. It has an LED bright, it's waterproof, you can use it in the shower. You get 2 extra heads, blade heads, to go either full smooth or an normal blade head. If you want to go all in, you can get the whole package. You get a nose trimmer, you get crop preserver, it's a ball deodorant, you get some aftershave, and in the box you also get some boxers and a bag, to keep all of those things in. So yeah, if you're interested, go to manscaped.com, use code LBR20 to get 20% off at checkout and free shipping. That's LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. And thank you guys, and back to the video.
Paid by Farouk. I know this.
Could be.
What can we do, man? We have to get a campaign running, bro. I think we need to. We haven't gotten enough yet. We're gonna pay a bit more, but we need the oil money that's coming from Sunate's, campaign for the citizens.
Yeah, you guys can joke as much as you want, yeah. But come the city preview. Like, I want you, Farouk, to tell Steve that we are gonna win. Yeah, like that's the only thing, right? You should tell him that we are gonna win.
Why would we go
That's
into a
it.
preview and be like, yo, big Steve?
No, we won't.
So
But I'm just telling you, like, when you predict, you should be like, yeah, we are gonna win 3-1 or like 2-0, like easy without even flinching. That's the only thing.
Sunet is like this. Sunet oscillates between two extremes. On one end, it'll be like Madrid will win 6-0. On the other end, it's like Madrid will lose 6-0. There's no in between.
Yeah, there is no in between for me. Like, my personality is like extremes. Like, it's either too good, too happy, or too sad. Like, I'm too sad today, man. Like, honestly, watching that was really draining for me. But yeah, big up Manscaped, big up Doris. You heard the woman. Get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com with the code LBR20. I repeat, LBR20. They are the pioneers of beard the waist grooming, but they have a whole catalog of products ranging from, deodorants, loungewear, all of that. So yeah, man, you asked us a way to show some love to the pod. This is your perfect excuse, right?
And before you go on, I would just like to say that if some of you guys really missed watching the game, or some of you guys want to relive those happy memories from today, you would just go back and watch the watch along once again, so that you get to relive the whole experience. So definitely check out Doris's watch along.
Yeah, Doris is certainly much more composed than us lot are, for sure. Right. Who should I come to? Jacob, walk us through the goal, man. It was pretty brilliant. Let's be honest, in isolation, the way Jude had the composure, had the presence of mind to basically turn the angle of play, to basically slip Winnie in on a basically a one-on-one, where when the play actually begins to take form, you never really see that.
Absolutely, man. Even before that, we get to Bellingham and Vinicius. Like, I have to big up Cruz, man. He absolutely won that ball in a crucial time, played that beautiful pass forward, and made that happen. And he did that on countless times. He won the ball so many times, and when he couldn't get the ball, he basically fouled the player. I feel like he was really good today, especially in those certain moments. And yeah, Bellingham, I did not expect that. And we have to bring up Vinny's run as well. He recognized that Bellingham was maybe going out a bit more wider. So he took the run inside, and Bellingham just made it happen with his magic. So, and pretty good finish by Vinny as well.
Thoughts more on the goal?
Yeah, for me, I think Bellingham did well, but for me, the bigger credit goes to Vinicius because Vinicius had the presence of mind and realized that Bellingham wasn't really passing him the ball in the area that he was already in, and he was going to run at the player. So he decided, I'm going to just cross in and get into space. That particular run is what creates the goal. I mean, like Jacob said, Cruz and Bellingham did a brilliant job to get us there, but Vinicius' presence of mind actually translated that from a chance into a goal. Because if that run hadn't happened, there would be no possibility of scoring a goal from that situation. But the fact that Vinicius makes that cross run and he gets into the box essentially unmarked into space, into an area that we definitely know that this Vinicius can score. Not the 2021 Vinicius, but this Vinicius is definitely scoring. So for me, I have to praise him for this, and I think I really enjoyed watching this from him. Before the game, there were some talks. I think towards the end of the first half, like on Twitter and everything, that oh, this is the difference between Vinicius and Mbappe. Mbappe can do this, Mbappe can do that. But Vinicius showed, okay, fine, I'm not Mbappe, but I still have my own bag of tricks, and he definitely delivered for us when we needed it.
Yeah, Vinicius's goal probability in a given situation, it ranges from, yes, he's scoring on certain days, to like, I don't know what I'm gonna get, right? And today was one of those occasions, like even when he got into that position, I was like, yeah, just waiting for it to really happen and
I
for the
think
net to bulge.
I think the good thing about Vinicius is the fact that even if he's having a bad game, he never stops trying. He's always
Yeah.
trying to do something. He's always trying to make things happen. And today
Mm.
again, we saw this. Even if he was frustrated before it, and even if he was making us frustrated before it, he still kept his head in the game, and somehow he
Yeah.
pulled this run that I didn't really think anybody would have made. He makes this run, and there's a goal at the end of it. And Real Madrid, especially after the shit game that we had, we still somehow managed to lead 1-0.
100%. But did you guys watch his scuffle with was it Orban, right? Like,
Orban,
yeah, like why does he go for his throat? Like, I don't get it. Like, isn't that a red in another scenario?
What, did he go for his throat or what?
Yep.
Throat
Like,
or put it on his chest?
I think he grabbed
It was
his neck,
pretty
if I'm
close
not
to the
I
neck,
mistaken.
felt
but
like he
it was no, man, it was pretty close to the neck, like close to the clavicle, to be technical.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely true, but he wasn't like grabbing his neck or something.
No,
He was
no.
trying to push him. So
Definitely.
I don't know about it being a red
Some
man.
some
I
refs would have
really
given
read
it.
the rules.
I was so nervous. I was very sure
I'm
that
telling you,
it would go to
people
VAR.
who basically proclaim that Champions League doesn't rile up Winnie, there is no racist abuse, the referees are much more saner, calmer. You gotta give me answers for shit like that tonight, right? On a game where the stakes were so high that we were basically on the ropes. Why is he getting wind up by like basically, I don't know, man, like Red Bull merchants? Like, honestly, like
I mean,
is Willie Orban
I would look
fucking
at it different in
Paolo
a different.
Maldini? I don't get it. I don't get it. Honestly, this kind of attitude behavior has to fucking stop, and guys have to mature up if we really have to stand a chance in winning the Champions League. I'm telling you, in the big occasions,
For me, the
people
thing is,
can't lose
it
heads.
wasn't more about Vinicius getting wound up. I think it was kind of like he was actually trying to wound up the Leipzig players because of the dominance that was there, and there was some frustration about the fact that we weren't actually getting the ball into good areas for offensive players to actually contribute. So I think it was down to that. But then you have a valid point when you say, like, guys like Vinicius, or Rodrigo, they need to mature and sometimes keep their head in situations where they tend to lose it.
Mm. Syed Abbas is in the chat. Big up, Syed. He was mentioning, "Hey guys, City fan, you're amazing work you're doing." That's a dig, right, Syed? But I think we can beat Madrid again this year. Yeah, I can't fault your confidence, to be honest. But coming up against us in the Champions League, you never know, because history says otherwise. When we play City, more often than not, you know how it works. Even if you're the better side, we might get rubber the green on a given night, and yeah, might knock you out. But it'll be definitely one for the history books. If we actually lock horns again this year. But yeah, the concession of the goal, Farouk, was it inevitable the way we conceded? I know Danny Carvalho had a very poor clearance, but could Nacho have done better to get in front of Willie Orban?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think, like putting Willie Orban basically in front of you, I think gives you almost no chance to that. Honestly, if he gets on that, like he goes on target and it's a goal. I kind of feel like, the position of Nacho was just strong on that, in my opinion. And I think he could have done way, way, way better than that, honestly. So, like, yeah, I mean, for the position he took, there was nothing, he could have done. And it was, a fantastic finish. There is nothing, also, Luni could have done in goal as well to that. But I felt like, yeah, it was just, poor positioning from Nacho all over.
Mm. Jacob, any thoughts? Willie Orban could have basically had a couple of players could have had a hat trick. Willie Orban could have had a brace, right?
Definitely, and for me, it was just the passage of play at that point. Like we just looked like we were going to concede at some point, and we just did not have any control. Like at that point, once we scored that, once we have a 2-0 lead on the aggregate, like we should have controlled the game. Maybe brought on Modric at that point sooner, but we just did not do that, and we couldn't control the game, and that was the major fault, and that's why the goal happened. Like we can point out to individual players, but that goal was always coming.
Right. I just knew, like when that play happened, something is bound to happen. It's gonna be either a handball or a pen, or like someone is basically getting a tap in. It's just super wild, like how we can let games get to that point, especially at home. Game management, where is it? Where has it been over the past 2 or 3 weeks? But Mo, walk us through Kroos and Modric. When Kroos, I think, had one of the salvageable performances. He put in Jude through, with that brilliant interception for the goal as well. Had a couple of neat tackles. Yes, there were a couple of questionable, sliding challenges, and like some good game management fouls here and there. But in general, Kroos was, I think, one of the better performances on the pitch.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you said. Like, I mean, I have to agree because I didn't really watch the first half, but for the second half, from what I watched, I cannot really doubt what you said. But even at that point, I felt like this game needed Modric because whenever we played in the Champions League, I always said this: Modric knows how to manage the games. He knows how to maybe the controlling of the pace and rhythm and tempo of the game comes from Cruz, but Modric knows how to manage games in Champions League. He knows how to manage situations. So I think once the game went to 1-1, even when we went up, I felt that we needed Modric in the midfield, and taking off Cruz was the way Ancelotti decided to go, especially given that Cruz had a yellow card. So, and he was a little bit slower in the challenges, and I mean, Cruz is 34. He's not like 28 or something. He's not in his physical prime. And the thing is, like, Leipzig players, they play with a lot of intensity. They have a lot of pace, and if you're even a step slower, the decision can go against you. So bringing a fresh Modric at that point in time, especially somebody who knows how to manage the games, who knows how to control the games, is important. And I think Modric's leadership in the midfield definitely helped because there was an improvement in our performance after Modric came on, as good as Toni Kroos was. So definitely a good substitution by Ancelotti, and I think he deserves credit there. But even then, I mean, Leipzig definitely did have their chances, and they were going to have, because overall our team, as Rudiger said in the post-match, we lacked a little bit of intensity. We were a little bit slower, and we didn't really get the challenges in that we needed to.
Right. Final thoughts, boys. I'll come to you, Farooq. What is your takeaways in a nutshell from tonight?
Yeah, man, there's nothing to take away from this game, man. As you said at the beginning, like rather than having questions, we have more answers on our hands. And, especially to anyone that this Rodrigo right now, what's going to happen with him? Because, like, this was a really important game. And, Carlo Ancelotti decided for him to be the sacrificial lamb, albeit, in my opinion, a very dumb one. But, yeah, like, what's going to happen with Rodrigo? How is he going to fit in? And what's, the form of Jude going to look like? Because basically right now, like, that's what is really, really, that's the team literally relies on, those combinations. And right now they're liking. Honestly, they're severely liking. And I don't know. I don't know if you guys have any news on Militao, but I really do hope, we can get some appearance from, Militao sometime, when the real game starts. I don't know. I think they're starting the next round anyways. So I really do hope we can get some, some comeback from him at least, because the rate at which we concede chances are just so real. As you also mentioned, it's not an isolated event. Even we go to the game in Leipzig, we go to the game at the at the Marseille at the weekend, and then this game. So it's it's looking bleak in the rate at which we are considering chances. Even forget about the offensive output. The defensive is the defensive side of it is not looking really good, honestly. And I do hope like our boys can figure it out one way or another, and hopefully we can also get one of our best defenders back.
Mo, Farooq had some very valid points. Is it solely down to us missing guys like Militao? I mean, Nacho, yes, had some iffy performances. Like, I'm not sure if he's still playing through his injury, but he had a very good, recovery tackle, especially towards the end of the second half, where he slid the ball in. Came in like his signature, basically, being super aggressive with his interceptions and stuff like that. But apart from that, he really had to basically, basically huff and puff to see the game out, as quickly as possible. Because I'm telling you, like, Rudiger, without Rudiger and his performances this season, like, where would we be? Like, let's be honest. If we really didn't have Rudiger playing out of his skin, we would be way behind in La Liga and the Champions League. We could have been knocked out.
I mean, return of Militao is definitely going to help. Return of Courtois is definitely going to help. I mean, these are world-class players. I mean, which team wouldn't love to have players like these back in their squad? So, as Farouk said, if Militao is back for important games, if Courtois is back for important games, you always play these guys, and it's definitely going to be a positive. But for as like how, as to how deep Real Madrid are going to go in this competition, it definitely is going to depend on the other point that Farouk made, how the combination between Jude and Vinicius and what kind of form Rodrigo is in come the deep end of the season. That is what is going to define Real Madrid season, and ultimately that is what is going to decide Real Madrid season. So for me, yeah, Militao and Courtois are definitely going to help if they come back, but more importantly, we need Rodrigo, Vinicius, and Bellingham to get their groove back.
Lunen's positioning was decent on many occasions. His passing out of the back, yes, is sometimes a bit nerve wracking. I'm not gonna lie, but one of his saves, especially I think the save he made of Xavi Simons, was very unconventional. Like maybe he saw the shot late. I don't get it. He basically flapped it away, like he didn't know what he was doing. So apart from that, Lunin has been okay. Like I wouldn't really fault him for the goal either. There isn't much you can do.
No, I mean the thing is like Lunin is okay, Lunin is good, but Courtois is world class. You need Courtois.
100%. Jacob, your thoughts, man? Anything to add from what Mo and Farooq just said?
Yeah, man. Like I just have two takeaways. I really think we need to give Fede Valverde some rest. Hopefully, in the next couple of games, we can. If Bellingham is actually not suspended, hopefully that gets repealed. The other takeaway is that Carlo Ancelotti sometimes just doesn't learn from his mistakes. Like he says he's gonna assess these things, but he's repeating the same things. Like why tinker with stuff just before an important game when you have actually figured out things that make this team tick? Like we know the combinations and the style of players that you want in order to make goals happen, but then he goes back to this weird formation where it doesn't help any single player, and it just makes you think if he's ever gonna learn.
Pretty damning.
I mean, the man is
over
1
there,
million years old, man. He's 1 million years old. Do you think he's gonna learn at this age? I mean, come on, he's learned everything he's gonna learn in the past, bro.
It's up to David Ancelotti right now.
Farouk isn't a big believer in senior education,
You're really telling me Carlo needs to go to evening classes, yeah?
I mean, he definitely doesn't need to learn how to do his taxes. So.
Okay.
Holy shit!
Okay.
I hope Francesco doesn't tune in because he's gonna tell Carlo, like look at these guys, they're talking shit about you.
if he's telling him about his taxes, he also needs to tell him the fact that I'm the only one today defending Ancelotti to an extent. So please, Carlo, give me credit for that.
Just today, but I've been one of his biggest defenders, Francesco. If you're
something that has bewildered me, like to use the word, this game, not just this game, this like second half of the season, the fact that I don't understand why Ancelotti is so reluctant to use Kamavinga as a left back. I mean, if he was going to make a substitution at halftime, why not put Kamavinga into left back position, take off Mendy, and bring on Rodrigo? I think that definitely helps us in getting out of pressure situations because Kamavinga is a much better passer, and even in the forward areas, he can combine better with Vinicius. With Mendy,
Yeah.
like Vinicius trying to play off of a pole in attacking sequences. So at least Kamavinga would have helped. But
Man,
that
but
is something
Carlo is just old school, man. Like he knows we have a one goal lead. Like why would he bring on Camavinga instead of Mendy? He just
I
believes
mean, he
Mendy
took
is
off
the best
Kamavinga with.
defensive left back in the world. So why would you take that off?
I mean, when you are unable to get the ball out of the back, that point in time, you aren't really like. I mean, in those times, I think you need some positive changes instead of making negative change. And for me, getting on Rodrigo was a positive change, but taking off Kamavinga for him was a negative change, and I probably would have gone with Mendy off and Kamavinga playing in the rough position. But then at the end of the day, we go through. We live to fight another day, and
Almost.
Farouk is gonna be with us for another preview. So I guess that is the thing I'm happy about the most.
The whole Kamavinga thought process, like I wouldn't think it was going to make much of a difference, but I see where Mo comes from, right? Like he's definitely a better, passer of the ball. He's a lot more composed in tight situations. I get it. I get it. That was my thought process as well, right? Like when we saw Kamavinga in the lineup, I was thinking, oh yeah, like he's going to basically take up the Brahim kind of mantle and support Jude and Winnie in building up. But yeah, man needs to work on his shooting. Simple as like he needs to be a threat, like from long range. Like at least test the keeper. Like he doesn't have any conviction when he's going in for a shot. Like, did you see his shot today? Like it was basically like like shooting from a water gun. Like I'm not even exaggerating.
Kamavinga is horrendous when it comes to shooting. He's horrendous.
He needs to step it up. Like all deep lying
Centrally in
midfielders
the
has
final
to have
third,
a good shot
centrally in
from
the
long
final third, I
range.
think Kamavinga needs to improve a lot, especially if he wants to play as a midfielder. But when he's playing out wide, I think he's a little bit better, and his combination with Vinicius definitely gives us some options. But yeah, I mean, Carletto is Carletto. Like Farouk said, he has a million years of experience, so he definitely does know better than me.
I guess that's pretty much it, man. We covered basically everything. Like I'm not sure if Jacob and Farouk has decided as to when the Celta Vigo preview is gonna be. Like, did you guys decide it yet? Like, can we let the people know? Is it tomorrow? Is it Friday?
We'll let you guys know. We'll let you guys know. Just
It's
follow us on
fucking
all
bloody
socials.
silence.
Just follow us on Instagram, man. Come on.
Right.
There
Okay,
are some
okay.
bands who'll have these secret shows, which you can only know if you know the right people. So the preview
Right. Is it being held underground?
Yeah, is it like a secret show? You only know if you know.
I would apologize for the lack of professionalism from my subordinates, to the people listening in, but this is what you get, with Farouk and Jacob. I'm joking, but yeah, like what like what Jacob said, basically, watch out for the YouTube community tab. Basically, I think it shows up if you schedule a stream, if I'm not mistaken. Or yeah, turn on the notification bell if you want to know way ahead of time. But yeah, man, big up every single one of you in the chat. 16 people still here. Smash the likes and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Big up S Matthew. He was saying Ala Madrid. Big up Syed. I actually mistook your statement. You said you're doing great about the pod, if I'm not mistaken, which is super appreciated. Much love, bro. But yeah, looking forward to City again. Looking forward to it. Big up listeners on audio as well. Thank you for sending in feedback, whether it's positive or negative. It's always appreciated, and it really makes a difference for how we, tailor this podcast, man. What makes this podcast? This podcast is you guys making it a two-way street, and we can have very civil conversations about the game and life in general sometimes. Big up our partners, Manscaped. You know the drill. LB at 20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Jacob hasn't still sorted out the pinned comment. I have no idea why. Jacob, you have to figure that out, especially before the stream ends, if possible, because the live chat is gonna go down. But yeah, LB at 20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Like you all know, Manscaped is the pioneers in below the waist grooming, but they have a huge catalog of products ranging from loungewear to deodorants, all of that. So yeah, you guys asked us for a way to show the podcast some love, and this is the way. This is the perfect excuse. Because big up Marcus Bellingham, he was mentioning Ala Madrid. The mass big up said he was mentioning when the win was more important than anything. 100%. 100%. We had to really, see out the game. That was all that mattered. I guess, especially in the Champions League, you can take this as one of those off days and focus on the result a bit more. But yeah, big up our partners on Instagram, Real Madrid Committee, the OGs. They have been with us since almost day one. They run a brilliant Real Madrid fan page. Go check them out. Yeah, if you like the content, give them a follow as well. Also, big up Hafid, big up Rajat. We have been, planning on launching the big three. Yesterday, it didn't really go to plan. Apologies, people. There were some technical unforeseen difficulties that came into play, but hopefully, it might be launched tomorrow or Friday. We'll let you guys know ASAP. We have very high hopes for the new series. It's gonna be, all out warfare between fans of the three big clubs in Spain. I hope it can really provide a different sort of outlet for basically discussing football, not just in La Liga but also in the Champions League. But yeah, Jacob, is the pin coming up?
I'll get to it later.
Like, do we get the live chat? No, I don't think we can get the live chat later.
Once you pop the chat out, it's like difficult to pin the comment. For some reason, it doesn't allow you to pin the comments. So
Let me put it in. Because
Sure,
if you
man.
can pay it from your end, it would be great.
Let's go off air and put it in.
we can't. I'm telling you, Jacob, we can't.
I mean, he's
Right?
saying he's not gonna end the stream. He's just gonna put the.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Yes, I can do all magic.
Okay. Fair. Right. Okay, then, people, I guess we'll sort it out in a bit. But yeah, big up every single one of you in the chat again. Love for the love. Watch out for when the preview is going to be, hopefully tomorrow or Friday. Farouk and Jacob will be back again to preview Celta at home. But yeah, until next time, people. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Madrid.
Modo.